Well, hi, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me here in my shop. It's May 22nd, another cold day, rainy day. In fact, it was rainy all day yesterday and cold, rainy all day today and tomorrow. Yeah, let's take a peek at the radar. Let's look at the radar here and see what the heck is happening around here. This is the Canadian radar from the Canadian Radar Service. And I live right in the midst of all this stuff here, right in this area. You can see the Lake Superior, the Great Lakes, it's all covered. It looks almost like it's spinning. Let's take a look at it. I'll play it here. I'll try and play it here. Here we go. Oh my gosh, it's not really going anywhere, is it? Okay, I'm going to zoom in on my location, which is right here. You see the word Aurelia? That's where I live. Let's keep this going. And this is just going to go on and on and on, just like they show it in the weather forecast for days. Oh my gosh, I've never... And look what's happening down here. So this is Buffalo is right over here, right at the end of Lake Erie here. So Buffalo, Niagara Falls right in here, and this is where I grew up. I grew up right under this red area here. I grew up in a town called Beamsville. You see that right there? Beamsville. Wow, that's a big storm. Just up on the escarpment there. Wow. Okay, enough weather. Enough weather. Now I know what's going on. Oh my gosh, this is really, really big. Oh my gosh, it goes right out into the ocean here. Stuff happening fairways up north too. Wow. Okay. Well, sorry to bore you with the weather here, but this is why I'm in my shop today. Bad weather isn't what's got me in my shop today. It's what's going to keep me in here for quite a while. So the situation is still kind of foggy in my head about this radio. It would appear that the AM detector and tuning in AM stations appears to be okay, but appears is big bold letters there. Appears to be okay, but still weak. I'm not sure if it's distorted on AM. On FM, it's clearly distorted. So why don't we go on the basis that there's really nothing wrong with this radio except the FM is distorted because of misalignment, which is quite possible. It's very likely, in fact, that that's what's being heard. And as for the signal strength or the strength in the speaker, we'll worry about that down the road. So today is about the FM detector and detector, they like to call it. I think it's called a discriminator. There's different words that are used for it. There's different types of FM detectors, and I don't know what type is in here. So we'll start with that. We'll start with studying the circuitry and understanding what kind of detectors in here, and we'll look for the magic 4 microfarad capacitor or so, 4 or so, if there is one, and a few other things. But first, I'm gonna go and get my cup of coffee ready. So I'm reading carefully through the entire manual now to pick up anything I might want to pick up that has to do with the FM side. And and this is a well-written manual. And I got to this line here, nothing to do with the FM thing. It has to do with the tuning the antenna. And this line here is very, very revealing. Well, look, I'm going to read it to you. It is thus possible to compensate for detuning of the input circuit when using aerials of random length. I'll read that again. It is possible to compensate for the detuning of the input circuit when using aerials of random length. So I've never heard this stated this way. And I know you put different kinds of antennas on your radio, and you may have an antenna tuning control. You have to turn the control to do something. And what this is really revealing what's happening, that you have a radio with a certain tuned front end, and when you hook up an antenna to it, it detunes the front end of the radio. And so you want to compensate for that effect so that the front end of the radio remains tuned. I've never understood it that way, so I'm just sharing this one line with you because I think something interesting is revealed here. And now I'm going to go back to reading the rest of this manual. Now, another thing here that has been bothering me the whole time on this radio is the calibration switch here, which I've pushed in. It's a push-in, pull-out switch. I've pushed it in. I can't pull it out. I've hurt my hand trying to pull it out. I've wondered about this switch. Which way is it supposed to be? In or out? And there's nothing in the manual I have found which indicates which way this switch should be. I can't believe I gotta put a pair of pliers on it to get it to come out. This switch, when you push it in and switch in the calibration mode, reduces some stuff in the radio. And it could be that if this switch is in the wrong position, the stuff is reduced all the time. Is that what I've been facing all this time? So I have it pulled out. Pulled out, I'm guessing, is the correct position to have it off. But I don't really know, to be honest with you. So that's another thing I really want to solve. And what if this switch isn't working right? What if it's dirty or something like that? I don't know. Just another thing that's been bugging me. Okay, let's try this. Let's try to solve the calibrator situation. What I did early on, and I don't know if I did it on video or not, is I simply pushed it in and pulled it out and noted the difference in the operation of the radio. This is pretty early on when the radio was not operating well and I was not familiar with it. My conclusion was you push it in, the radio's weaker, you pull it out, the radio's stronger. That was my conclusion. And I just kept it there since then. And pencil. Where's your cat toys, mister? Where are the cat toys? Under there? There's no cat toys under there. Ooh, piece of wire. Where's that wire go? It's just a piece of wire. How about a clip lead? Why did I give you a clip lead? Because that went really well yesterday. You just went wild on a clip lead. Here's one. What do you think? Now the other day he was chomping on some screws in here, and at least one of you got worried, including me, that he'd swallowed one, but he didn't. I have all 4 of those screws. So. Okay, you play along with that. I don't think he's going to choke on it or anything. It's like chewing gum to the cat. We're going to experiment with this. To do this, I need some kind of signal antenna. FM will do fine, I think. Apparently, when you turn on the calibrator, you get a calibration signal every 5 megahertz. So let's give that a try. Oh. Things are getting more complicated here. Cat number 2 has figured out there's a clip lead available. Oh my gosh, how am I going to do this now? I'm taken over. Taken over by these cats. You want your own clip lead. Wally and Bert. Wally has the white patch. Bert does not. Right, guys? Okay, you ready for this? We're gonna try this with you guys here. I don't know. Maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna stop for a bit and get my cup of coffee ready. What do you say, guys? Do you want to go upstairs? What if I throw something down the hall? What if I throw a stick? What about a stick? You want to try a stick? Let's try a stick. I don't know, like dogs like sticks. I don't know about you guys. Oh, you're already down the hall. Ready? Got one. What happened to you? How come you didn't go? Maybe I was in the way. Couldn't jump down. I think that was the problem. Go get the stick. Bert, stick. Bert, stick. Go on. Go on. Oh. Come on. Come on, buddy. These cats are too nice, you see? I have to make a choice. To spend time with the cats or spend time with the radio. That's a tough choice. Down you go. Or actually I have a third choice, and that's to spend time with a cup of coffee. Let's do this. They're not here now. Okay, this goes on. This goes on down here. There we go. We'll just kind of do this by ear. I think it should be fairly obvious. Even though it's distorted and weak, it's going to get weaker. Okay, you can hear the hiss in the speaker. Okay. Okay, push this in. I think I heard it get quieter right then. Yeah, nothing there. Now what about 5 megahertz would be up here? Is there something up here? Right around here? Oh, there is. We put on CW. Do we get a tone? We do not. We don't hear anything. AM. Volume everything up full. It's not modulated. There it is. Very faint. Pull this out. Nothing there. A little off, not by much. Some funny sounds come out of this radio.
It's 298-4991. Ontario license number 4705786.
Sometimes moving your way means following your heart, even if you don't know where it might lead. No matter where it went, a part of me would always be here.
Remember, no matter where you go, there you are. Okay, we're ready to do this alignment thing. I'm going to stop for a little bit though. You can hear the stick being played with in the background now. Successful. Okay, so I continued reading along through the manual. I read through the part about this IF output. Now I have a number of radios that have an IF output on the back, and I can make use of them. I can make use of it here too in a very interesting way. So I sort of just suddenly realized there's an opportunity here for me to further interrogate the operation of the radio by looking at the signal coming out of here. Now this has got some kind of, I tried pulling this out before. I don't really know what's going on with this knurled hand. It looks like you should be able to pull it out, but pulled pretty hard on it and it didn't do anything. So let's take a closer look at it here and see what we can figure out with it. What is happening? Sorry, just trying to get my camera to steady in the right spot. Doesn't want to. How come? Okay. See, what caught my eye is you can see this, and then you can see another sleeve, and then you can see the outside part. Now, what's going on there? If you look around at the other side of this, try not to drop everything on the floor. Well, that just looks like a grip, I'm looking right in this area here. Looks like just a spring grip sort of deal there. It's just gripping it really hard. Sorry about the focus, but okay. Well, it looks like I just gripped that thing, and maybe give it a little twist. Should you twist something like that? Wow. See, I wouldn't expect it to be this tough. That's why I left it. But we're not going to leave it this time. Okay. Put a little more strength in it here. Feels like it can rotate. Let's see it coming out. There we go. It's just a shorting pin. Okay, let's look at the kind of connector we've ended up with here. So I'm hoping it's a regular. That's not your regular thing there, is it? It's not a regular connector. And what do you push the connector in there? What does it grip onto? Okay, well, it's going to remain a bit of a mystery, but there's a signal available there, I think, and I can get at it. We're going to try making some use of that. Okay, I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to put the SDR full screen on the video, so you won't be able to see anymore what I'm doing. This is simply a lead going over to my SDR radio, which we're going to be looking at, and I'm just going to be connecting it, and disconnecting it a little bit, and when I get it connected, and things seem to be working, we'll then mess around with the radio a bit and see what we can see. We might find some pretty interesting stuff out doing this. For instance, the center tuning of the IF may be revealed with precision on the SDR. Or maybe this won't work at all. We'll see. What am I going to tune in? We'll just leave it tuning in FM stations for now. The IF output got to be happening before any detection or anything like that's going on. So switching AM FM probably doesn't make a lot of difference, except for the bandwidth, which we can probably see when we do this. I've got cats running around here like crazy. Okay, it's a cat world here. Right, so we got to turn on the radio. That's probably a good start right there. I didn't turn it on. I did something else. There, it's on. We'll switch the screen here. Okay, you can see my SDR is sitting on 5200 or 5000 megahertz. And it's connected, and the radio is operating. We're not seeing really anything there. There's something down around 4.7. Let me turn the radio off briefly and just see if something comes and goes. I should have really been watching it the first time. That's off. That's back on. I really kind of expect to see something. Okay, let me turn up the volume and see if we haven't got something coming in on the radio. Well, I've disconnected the speaker. That would make it a little difficult to hear. Let me clip the speaker back on. I disconnected it just to get the wires out of the way. There we are. Now the IF thing just fell out. So the radio's receiving something. So just to the left of the red line, there's some little stuff popping up there. Let me tune the radio. So those things should move back and forth as I tune the radio. Nothing is moving. Well, this isn't working, is it? This is not working. It only works on certain bands? Oh, let's try another band. The IF is so weak, you can't see it. There's just nothing happening here. I'm a little surprised at this. Does it mean this isn't even working? Do I have to connect here? So I briefly did. I ungrounded the SDR briefly. That's ungrounded. Does that help? That doesn't help, does it? Let me tune the radio again. There's nothing happening here. That's looks like nothing is happening. Very surprised. So probably I'm doing something wrong. That's my first assumption. I've done something wrong here. I don't know what it would be. By now my cup of coffee is ready, so I'm going to stop and ponder the situation here. If I read a little further here, I should have read the whole thing perhaps. Low level output at 5.2 megahertz is provided for feeding this display unit, which is kind of what I'm doing with the SDR. I think it's almost the same thing, in fact. The output is derived from an 82 ohm resistor, which is included in the earth return of the decoupling capacitor in the anode circuit of the mixer stage. What? The mixer stage? Normally this is coming out of the end of the IF stages. So low level 5.2. Well, low level shouldn't. I'm using an SDR. It should be sensitive enough, I would think. From the mixer. Okay, I've been looking on the schematic here in totally the wrong area. So I've been looking out here trying to find something, but it's actually after the mixer. And the mixer tube is number 2, V2. So we need to go up to here. Here's V2. Okay, so now we're looking for. Oh, somebody's penciled this up a bit. We're looking for an output, aerial input. So it was coming from a capacitor related to the. I thought it said cathode resistor. Here's a cathode resistor. Is this it? What is this? What is that thing? C9. I've never seen. There's another one over here, and they're ganged together. Just a big tuning capacitor. Definitely not what I'm chasing. I'm not. No success happening here. Okay, do I see a connector or anything around here? Nothing at all. What a mystery. It's another mystery. Look at how they're showing these capacitors here. A little bit of an unusual arrangement. I'm not really sure what this means. Down here, up here too. Occasionally this indicates a pass-through, a metal wall or something like that. And they actually show it on the schematic because the pass-through has a capacitance. So C12 is not a capacitor; it's just a thing. But I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. We could always look, but I don't want to go off. Well, I don't see any output on the schematic, and I don't see any output on my SDR. I don't get it. Maybe on FM this doesn't work. Why would that be? It's coming out of the mixer. If it's coming out of the mixer, it's there all the time. X. This is usually a heater thing. Yeah. So this wire is a heater wire. I don't know what they're doing here with these capacitor symbols, and it doesn't matter right now. Easy to get distracted when you don't know what you're doing or you don't know what to do. It's almost the same thing. Let's go to the next page and just look here. Does anybody show a connector at any point? No. Well, that's not helpful. It does run. The connector that I'm connected to is fed with a shielded cable. Shielded cables are shown quite clearly on here. There's none showing here. Let's go back up here. So there's one showing here. Where do you connect to some outside connector? Nowhere. And that's it. Well, I can't sort this out. That's disappointing, because this IF thing would be helpful. If it were at the far end of the IF, it would be really helpful, but at the front end, clearly it's designed for this other piece of equipment that they've mentioned. Or is it another casualty of a low signal? If you're getting low signal at the mixer tube, which is right here, then there's not much radio in front of you. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 1 and the 5 have big circles, and the ones inside are small dashed line circles. What is that? The aerial is showing. It doesn't say so. Well, there's the problem. The antenna is not connected to anything. Right there. Yeah, I'm just fishing around here in all kinds of circles. Now, what was I going to do today? I was going to do a FM alignment. I haven't even got to that yet in the manual. Holy smokes. Okay, let me continue here. Okay, take a look at this. A little further down in the manual, I came across this. Note, if the receiver forms part of the EPR26 panoramic display installation, which is what I'm trying to imitate here, I believe, the EP17R display unit can be used for visual alignment of the 5.2 megacycle stages. Instructions will be found in the manual. Wait a minute. If this thing is looking at the output coming from a mixer, how can you possibly align these stages, which come afterwards? So this is in complete conflict with what I read up above. So you know what that means? That means it's time for me to stop and drink some coffee. See if I can wash the confusion away. So the output for the IF on the back of the radio comes from C19 and R105. Here's C19. C19's on the top of the first IF can and is right as they said. Did they say this? It was related to the cathode, wasn't it? I have to read it again. Here's, you know what? This is a different, this is not correct. Schematic, I'm pretty sure that, and what, here's some more of this stuff here with these numbers, and somebody's penciled this in. What are they trying to show? Yikes. So, you cannot, so C10, let me look again. C19 and R105. Let's find R105 on this sheet here. R105 is not going to be on that page. It's going to be way R105. They don't get that high. 105 R. Okay, there's a parts list up here. There's a parts list up here, I think. I'm looking for R potentiometers. R105. 82 ohms. Right there. Oh, you little tricker. You got to be in there somewhere then. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to range over this entire schematic to try to find R105. So why don't I do that? Okay, I see now what these are. These are the contact points for the turret. The turret that is spinning inside the radio. So, okay, that little mystery is solved. I looked on the parts list, the R numbers go up to 119, I think. So there should be 19 different resistors with a number greater than 100. Here's one. No, that's a capacitor, Jim. Here's one. 102. And I'm looking for 105. It looks like the numbering, it's like here's R96, so it looks like the numbering, smallest numbers at the top and largest numbers at the bottom, but this is only page 1, so you don't know how what convention they use to come up with these numbers. Often there is like top left corner to bottom right corner, the numbers increase generally in that direction. That's a technique, but okay, so no 105 here. No 105. So if it's down low, see here the numbers are in the 30s, 40s, 60s. There's R90. How about R105? How about you just jump out here at me at this point and go, here I am. I'm right here. It's not very cooperative. I'm going to go wait. This is crazy going down to this page, but what else can I do? These are the 90s, 90s, 70s, 80s, 60s. The only place where there's hundreds is on that first page. I think what can happen is they can make a big schematic like this and have everything numbered and everything lined up, and then some engineer runs in and goes, I've stuck another resistor in the radio. I go, okay, where'd you put that? And I put it here. Okay, well, we're not going to change all the numbers now, so what's the next number? And so a number like 105 could end up in the middle of a schematic for that kind of reason. But having said that, it hasn't helped any. So I can't find the connector on the schematic. I can't find the resistor that goes with it. But I could find the capacitor. According to the numbering, this is the capacitor. So, no. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I feel like I could do this for a long time and then suddenly see it. I've had that experience too. But that's the closest I get, R102. And there's another whole series of resistors that are not showing here because I'm trying to spot any resistor over 100. There should be 20 of them and I can only find a couple. So there's something really weird going on here. Now there were some other diagrams, some like blow-ups if you like. These ones here. I can't rotate this. Ooh, presto. Not quite presto, but here's 100. What tube is this? 6AM8. Did they say? It was a crystal oscillator. And this is a crystal oscillator amplifier maybe or something like that. Just look at the R's. R2. R106. You can't get any closer. Come on. R105. You're right here. I know it. You're right here. R107. You're up here off the page. R112, R110, 111. Where are you? 105. Oh, we go to here. 109, 108. I found them all except for 105. I found it. There it is. Okay. Why is it here? There's C19. There's R105. And there's the output. Why did they do this? Why did they show it in this separate little thing here? Anode to V2. I guess they're trying to show you how the circuit works and get it out of the complex schematic. Maybe this is spread all over the place on the schematic, so I don't know. I don't know why they did this. Why they do this. So so this is definitely on the mixer. Anode of V2 mixer. How can you possibly align the IF looking at the panoramic display, which I assume is very similar to what I was going to do with the SDR? You don't have to do anything to make this work. It should just be sitting there all the time. I don't know, is this indicating where the problem in this radio is? Is there a problem? is there a bigger problem than just me? I'm the problem? What's this going to do for us anyway? It just reassures me that the schematic here fits this radio, and that the output is from the mixer and not from the IF output. Well, it certainly doesn't explain the statement. It's not here. The statement. I've lost the statement. But anyway, I haven't even studied the FM alignment yet. I'm just getting through other stuff. Okay, yeah. Well, I'll leave it hanging like that because I don't know what else to do. I'll carry on trying to study on the FM alignment if I ever get there today. Holy smokes. I finally made it to the FM alignment procedure, which is really just this paragraph here, more or less. This is how you hook up the equipment anyway, which is what I need to know. Signal generator is adjusted to give an unmodulated output of 1 volt at a frequency of 5.2 megacycles. 1 volt. It is connected via a 0.01 capacitor to the grid of FM limiter tube V8. I think that's quite accessible actually. The center zero microammeter is used as an indication of discriminator output and is connected from the junction of R47 and R48 to the chassis via a 0.1 megohm resistor. So what they're trying to do here is, you're going to adjust the balance of the discriminator, and you need a center zero microammeter and a big resistor to control the current through the ammeter, or you're going to blow your ammeter. And now I've done this with a voltmeter. I don't know why you need an ammeter. Or really what they're doing here is they're turning an ammeter into a voltmeter by sticking this resistor in there. But all you need is a center zeroing. You don't need any, maybe their concern here is drawing too much current out of the circuit to run the ammeter. It shouldn't really be a concern for me if I use a high impedance meter, but this the engineers writing this manual are assuming the person reading this manual is sitting in a shop better than mine. So the reason I'm hesitating on this is I don't have a center zero microammeter to use like this, so I have to do some alternative. I really don't see why you just can't put a voltmeter on here. And you're looking for a positive voltage, negative voltage, or a zero as compared to ground, because isn't this how this goes to the grid? They don't actually say where the signal generator goes to the grid. Center zero is used, and again connected from the junction point to the chassis. Yeah, so it's typical, the same basic instructions for an FM receiver. Is that all there is to it? Just that one adjustment? And then what are you doing? Set the secondary top core of T6 so it's flush with the top of the screening can, top of the can, and adjust the primary core for maximum deflection on the meter. Maximum deflection on the meter. On a center zero meter. The secondary core controls the center frequency of the characteristic and should now be adjusted for zero reading on the meter. Now check the linearity by detuning the generator by equal amounts above and below the center frequency. Any unbalance may be noted and can be cancelled by adjustment of the primary core, which controls the linearity of the output. The engineer, whoever wrote this, reveals a lot in the way they write. Like this part here, which controls the linearity of the output. A lot of these manuals would not have that line in there. They would just stop, cancel by adjustment of the primary core. Period. So this guy's he's lending a little bit of knowledge out in the way he writes this stuff. He or she. If it should improve, impossible to correct this. The linearity change the double diode V9 and repeat the adjustments detailed above. V9. Now V9 is a, let me look at my tube list. V9 is a 6AL5 that I replaced. And this might be, is this the one? This is the one that had a short in it. When I went to test it, it had a short in it. Now whether it was shorted in the radio, who's to say? I operated the radio with that tube in place. A shorted tube would do damage. But we looked for the damage, couldn't find it. Round and round and round we go. Where we stop, nobody knows. Okay, what can I do? So I try to set this up as best I can, and that's what I'll have to do. Oh my gosh. So I better find these things. The V8 and these two resistors, R4748. Well, you don't bother telling you the value of them. Shame on you, engineer. You should have wrote the value on those. Usually these are both the same value, like 10,000 or something, 100,000. 4748, we'll find it first on the schematic. That should be easy to find. 4748. Let's use this page here. So the detector is happening up here. Here's one of them. Here's the other one. This is the AM one. This is the FM one up here. V9. Let me look and see what they call V9. V9 is the same one. 6AL5 FM discriminator. So around here we should find these two resistors. What were they? 46 and 47? 47 and 48. So 47. Oh, that must be 48 there. It looks like 46 to me, but it must be 48. So these two resistors are in there somewhere in the radio. Near this tube, almost certainly near this tube. I have to find them and then connect to the center between them. And I think a voltmeter is going to do the trick. My solid VTVM. And I can move the I can easily rearrange the zero so it's in the center. It's made for that purpose. Well, that would be easy then. Forget the microamp meter and all that stuff. And then what are we adjusting? We're adjusting. It's probably on the next page. We're adjusting. What are we adjusting? Up here? Maybe up here. Let's see. I gotta read the instructions again. Core of T6. T6. So here's T6. So we're setting the secondary core flush with the top, I believe is what it said. And then you set the primary core for the biggest voltage swing you can manage. Now, if this thing's way out of whack, it's going to be out of balance. All you can do is follow the instructions. Set this for the biggest swing, and then set this to zero it out. Well, that's kind of weird, because if this happens to be set exactly where it needs to be set to zero it out, then you can't get a swing out of this. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Oh, that's why you move this up to the top of the can first. You move this up to kind of get it out of the way. That's the reasoning. Then you get a clear view of what you're doing with this. Then you bring the slug back down and attempt to get the center zero happening. And I'm willing to bet if I do this, the FM's going to sound clear afterwards. Okay, so the tube involved is a 6AL5. Coming off, there's two cathodes. Coming off one of these cathodes are the two resistors in series that I'm after. If we look inside here, let's use the other camera here. Let me look inside. Let me bring over a light. what do we see? So I'm looking at my manual here for 6AL5. The cathodes are on pin 1 and pin 5. Okay, pin 1 and pin 5. So if you look in there, I think you'll see pin 5 is grounded out. It might be a little hard to see, but these are all grounded out. Pin 1, I'm pretty sure, is at the bottom of this resistor. How sure can I be? Yeah, not with the camera doing that. Let me just fix this this annoying camera that hunts for focus all the time, especially, as like I mentioned on another video, if there's any pattern in view, like a checkerboard or anything like that, it has a hard time. I'm going just a little bit closer here. I really want to look at that tube base. Sometimes they write numbers right on it. Looks like there's numbers in there. Now, so where is the gap? You know, the pin gap. And I think the pin gap, let's see if I can point at it here. I think the pin gap is right, I think I'm pretty much touching it here. Right in here. Right in here. Here. But see, there's a pin there coming up, but maybe hard to see in the camera. It's hard for me to see. I'm double verifying, right? Double verifying everything. The pin in the pin gap appears to be soldered back to the center terminal, which is a ground point or a grounded point, and you can just see what's happening here. This is down on the chassis, this thing here. So that's chassis ground all the way around through the center and into this, what I would call the gap pin, or what if I got it wrong? So if that's correct, then pin 1 has got this resistor on it. And the reason I'm dwelling on this is because, as usual, things aren't adding up. So this resistor is a blue, gray, orange. That's what I would make that out to be. So what's that? 68K? Blue, gray? 68? If you look where it's going, it goes up to another one. Exactly the same value. That's a big hint that these are the two resistors. They're the same value. That's a really big hint. And this point here is really exposed. Like this point here worked great as a test point. Well, we're going to test that as a test point because I don't know what else to do. These resistors are supposed to be not 68K. They are two totally different values. That doesn't make sense. You know what? I made a mistake looking at the manual. I must have. These two resistors have to be the same matching value. And I must have looked up the wrong resistor numbers, because I got two resistors with different values. But that's not how this is supposed to work. Okay, I'm not 100% sure yet, so I'll spend a little more time on my own trying to reassure myself that I've got the right spot here. When I looked down this table, I looked at the wrong resistors. I looked at 46 and 47, which are two different ones. But look, 47 and 48. Yeah, it sure looks like 46 is the number written in the 47, 48. That doesn't match the 47, 48. 47, 48. 47. Here's 47. Oh, yeah, okay, and 48. What's the matter with me? Anyways, so okay, that's good. 47, 48. Losing everything. 47. Perfect. Everything's adding up. Okay, so that's the right spot. Okay, I've cleared my head here. Okay, so I've got the connection where the meter should go. I just put a clip lead on it just so I don't forget, although I don't think I would forget. The next thing is, where do you put a signal into the radio? So it's on the grid of the limiter tube. The limiter tube is way down there. Yeah, way down there. So even just identifying which one is pin 1 is a pretty tough job in itself. I have to pull the tube out of the top and look, I think. Unless I can identify pin 1 by a connected component. Wow, and then I got to get down in there with something, make a connection to it. I think I have a tool for that. Okay, I'll make that connection somehow. Okay, I pulled out the tube and figured out where pin 1 is. Let's see if I can put this connector onto it. There's a resistor coming up. I can get on the resistor lead. There. That, I think this is the input then into here. The output coming here to a meter. I think we're almost ready to do this. We got the input. I need the 5.2 megahertz accurately, very accurately. How can I ensure it's accurate? Using the SDR, I can ensure accuracy. Okay, got lots more stuff to set up here. Okay, let's take a look at what I've done. So I've got the signal generator over here set to 5.2 exactly. How do I know that? Because I have my SDR. Whoops, I don't have it on the screen here. I have my SDR here dialed in at 5200, 5.2 megahertz, and you can see the signal right there. It's lined up. So I know, despite the fact that it says 5, you can't see it, 5198, it's really 5.2, very accurately. Great. Radio's on. CAT is showing up. That's always helpful too. And input signal. Now, getting exactly 1 volt, I don't think that's necessary. I think they're telling you you need a strong voltage to do this. And I can get one out of that. Signal generator. And I have the meter over here, and I have it center zeroed. I'm letting everything warm up because we need real precision here. Oh my gosh, no. No. Come on with me. Come on with me. You go elsewhere this time. There's too much on here and too much at stake, including the CAT. So the output here, if I hook it up on the meter, you see a slight movement. Let me make the meter much more sensitive. So this is potentially the misalignment right here. This amount right here. Oh, the part I didn't practice was the actual adjustment. Duh. Okay, but I do want to let everything warm up for a while. So I think I'm going to do that. Interestingly enough, what happened here? That my SDR screen just kind of went blank. Like the signal disappeared. Oh! I see another problem over here. Yikes! Way overdriven output. Sorry, I'm just reaching across, but just looked over my output meter. This thing here was pinned, and we're operating with just a signal with no modulation. Nowhere's near a volt coming out yet. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to vary the output strength here and watch that this meter moves. Should it move? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Should it drift? Would it change? Here. It's getting crowded in my shop here. Let me move this over here. Okay, so what I'm doing, first I'm going to vary the output of the signal generator down by a factor of 10, up by a factor of 10, up by another factor of 10. The meter is moving ever so slightly. Okay, I hate to do this. So 5198 was the thing. I'm going to vary the frequency here. Oh, there's nothing happening on that meter. Oh, you know why? I don't have this set to FM. Duh. Now it's on. It was on narrow FM, which should have done the trick. Is this working? Good question. Offhand? No. I don't think this has worked out. Oh, not enough power. More power. More power. Okay, now we're pushing a volt. Anyway, something like that. I can get a little more out of this too if I need to. I'm going to vary the frequency. Oh, that's a lot better. Okay, let's bring it back up to where it should be, 198 on my frequency counter. And I can look. Actually, I can see the SDR from here. There. So can you. Sort of. My signal generator likes to hop around 5.2. It doesn't like to stop there. That's about as close as I'm going to get. Whoops. Just went up a little bit. How much difference is this? Could be a tiny, tiny amount. And it's not showing up on my frequency counter. That's going to be it. It's me whacking my signal generator. So close enough. Close enough. I still haven't practiced or know what I'm supposed to do to adjust it. I missed that part. Okay, so we see that it's not in the center zero here. So I'm going to leave everything just as it is while I stop the video and practice and figure out what it is I'm supposed to do next. Okay, so top of the can, right. I was just going to say which slug did they want taken to the top. It was up here. So I'm going to go in the what I hope is the right. Now let's think about this. This can't be that far out. Why do they want it right up at the top? I don't know. How far can I rotate this? Not very far. I'm getting in trouble. Here. Okay, it's in. Now, which way? Would you screw it out the same way? I think so. Right in level with the top of the can. Ooh, it's definitely coming up. It's going to come right out of the can. Okay, so right up at the top. That's got to be the top. Like that moving, like that. Okay. The idea now is to adjust the bottom to give a maximum reading on the meter. This is the concept. Checking the frequency. We are okay. Okay, now I got to find my way through all that stuff with this tool. But there's a straight shot right down to the slug. A straight shot. Where was that straight shot? There it is. It's right down here. Okay, now what am I trying to do with this one? Trying to maximize that meter reading. Let's see if I can get it in. Confused about which meter? it's that one. Still trying to get this tool to set. How come you're not doing it? Come on, get in there. Straight across. Whoops, I think I slipped out. I can practically see it go right in the slot. Is it in there? I think that's just bumping over the slot. My tool's too big. Wow, I should be a proud man if that's the case. That feels like it's in. Okay, look at the meter. Look upon the meter. Something started hissing. I don't even have a speaker hooked up. Look at this difference. Maximize that baby. Whoa, whoa. Well, the speaker is hooked up. So a whole bunch of hiss is showing up. Excellent. I can't get any higher than that. out you come. So now the next thing is the top one, to adjust this down to the center. Frequency is still correct. Okay, now we go in the top, make sure it's the right can, Jim. Don't do the wrong can. It's right in the top. How can I pick the wrong one? Okay, we're screwing down until that thing goes to the center. Come on, man. You can do it. Go to the center. Uh-oh. What's happening here? Well, that didn't work very well, did it? Holy smokes. That's a long ways I've driven it, much further in than out. So I'm past the spot where it was. Let me turn the volume up on this a little bit just so we can enjoy the hiss. Is there anything else I might have not right? What's shaky there? There we go. Turning the IF gain control, I think it's a little bit dirty. Okay, now, so this hasn't worked out properly. Maybe I just haven't turned the slug far enough. Something else is wrong. Let's check the center zero on the meter. Yeah, how can that be wrong? That can't be wrong. Notice that connecting the meter has no effect on the radio. Oh, little effect. You can hear that, but that's not surprising. Okay, just checking to make sure I'm not messing up the radio while I'm doing the test. What else can we do here? Like, all I can do is turn that. Did I get the top and the bottom mixed up? Is it primary? Maybe I got. It said move it to the top of the can. Oh, this would be the bottom of the can. So they must be talking about the top slug when they said that. Okay, we're just going to keep moving it. Let me get back in the slug here. Now we're just going to keep screwing it in until something good happens. Oh, look at that. Notice the radio's going quiet, and it's possible it's because the limiter is being activated now. So we center zero this. Oh, this is great. Now we look at the frequency on my frequency counter to double check that we maintain frequency 5199, which is fine. And we could take a peek on the SDR just to see what it says. Okay, so we're slightly high on the SDR. Just slightly high here. How high is that? Let me zoom this thing in like crazy. So this is 5201. No, this is 5200 right here, and here we are at I guess this is telling me what it's tuned to. Why is it doing that? So we're at 52. This would be 01. So 5. So 50. Okay, let's do this right. How far off are we here? So this would be 100,000. Oh, we see it's getting late in the morning here. We're not off by much. Okay, I can set it back. Let's see if I can do this. Can I get it right on the money? How accurate is my SDR anyway? Okay, so I'm going to try to move the signal generator. It just doesn't want to stop at 5200. Wow, there we go. Ooh, right on the money. Nobody move. Everybody hold still. How's the meter? It's still center zero. So this little bit didn't make any difference on here. We're still center zero. Is there any reason why I should doubt what I've done at this point? I don't think so. I think what we need to do next is tune in an FM radio station and hear the nice clear sound. Okay, but first, it's coffee break time again. Okay, let's see if I lose my quarter on the bet. The bet was this was going to really clean up the just 1 second here, my computer just did something a little weird. Are we still there? We're still there. Yep. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Oop, here it comes. Not sounding too clear, is it? That didn't work. You only have to hear one. Let's go up to where they're talking. Up around here. Hopefully talking. Wow. How do you spell disappointment here? Did I hook up the right antenna? Yes. I did. Well, I didn't make a hill of beans of difference. Really did it. My quarter. What about my quarter? So 91.5. That's really weak. There's no way it's hitting the limiter.
Allegations of impaired driving causing death.
I think for many of the families we work with who've lost someone themselves or been injured, it's just really frustrating hearing these stories. To keep hearing
This
about
meter
other
stopped
families
working
who've
also.
been devastated by, someone else's
This was
decisions.
working earlier on. It's not now.
And with Mad Canada, the statistics on impaired driving violations in Canada have been in general decline over the last 25.
Nope. Well, isn't that disappointing? Yes. I risked a quarter on that and it's gone. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'll have to give it to a cat or something like that. Well, I think I did the alignment correctly. So I don't think that's an issue. At the very least, I've eliminated another potential issue here with it. I'm doing all the easy stuff. It's getting harder. So I think we still have weak coming out of the IF. That would implicate something in the earlier stages, perhaps. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed, to be honest with you. Oh well, I have 24 hours now, or 22 hours to charge up my batteries and come at this thing again tomorrow. Wow. Okay, well, thanks for watching. See ya.